It's Matthew Wright, founder and CEO of Specright. What an incredible year it's been and continues to be in our journey moving forward. We come off PAC Expo in the fall, which was super exciting. We had Summit in January, certainly very exciting, where we brought customers and partners together in Nashville for several days of great learning. We're also excited coming off of getting our patent last year, which was super valuable to our path forward. Rebranding of the company to really put our best foot forward and explaining what we do to help and enable companies across the globe. This really culminates with one of the most exciting announcements we've had recently, which is adding Mike Crowe, former CIO of Colgate-Palmolive, to the board of directors, really helping guide and direct the company as we move forward. Mike brings over 30 years of experience, obviously with Colgate, really understanding the journey of technology and the digitization that companies are going through, supply chain challenges, all these things that companies that we work with can relate to. And Mike's going to really help guide and direct us to bring more and more value to these companies as we go forward. And then ultimately, Mike was also a customer of Specright's, and it was an exciting journey to work with him over the past several years and to have him join us at Summit and really listen to our customers talk about Specright. So I'm excited to welcome Mike to the board of directors and to Specright. Welcome, Mike, and glad to have you here.
Oh, thanks a lot, Matthew. I'm really excited to be joining Specright on the board. When we met, I guess close to 3 years ago with you and the team, I was instantly impressed with the subject matter expertise you have across the supply chain, packaging engineering and machine engineering, materials, and the manufacturing process, and along with that, the vision of what could be done better. And then combining that with the expertise you've brought into the company from a technology standpoint and make the best use of the cloud and modern technology to streamline processes, to improve collaboration with suppliers, with contract manufacturers, save money, speed, time to deployment of new products. I'm just quite impressed. And as we look forward, what I'm really excited about is I think most people don't understand the broad offering that Specright has and the value that can be brought to their company. And so I think it's a bright future ahead for Specright, and glad to be along for the ride.
No, it's great. You bring me back to, like you said, probably 3 years ago, I remember getting invited to the call to introduce myself to you. And I was anxious that you would understand what we were trying to do and the value we brought. What really resonated with me was just how fast you got what we were doing and how it fit into your tech stack that you had already kind of embedded in the operations, and how we were collaborative and additive to that process. And so I really appreciate those insights. And I know as we look forward, some of the things we've been talking about is how to explain that methodology to other industries and companies. And I've enjoyed those conversations to this point. As you were at Summit, I'm just curious, you mentioned the width and breadth of the solution. Anything really stick out at you at Summit in terms of that messaging?
So I think one of the things that I said to you at Summit is, you're more than what I thought you were, which, reinforces some of what I said a couple of minutes ago. A couple of the other things that stand out, though, are what a loyal customer base you have. Great references from other customers that I talked to while I was there, and not only around the capability that you have in the solution, in the product, but also sincere appreciation from your customer base on how you work with them, your willingness to partner with them and to continue to make things better, not just for yourselves, but for your customers as well.
No, I appreciate that. One of the fanatical focus I have is on customer satisfaction and really as brought or demonstrated by usability of the system. I am in jokes that even on holidays, I'm wondering why our user counts are down. So if the product is good and it helps people do their job, they really should be using it effectively. And you'd mentioned in one of our recent meetings how that's not typical. The technology doesn't always engage with the user in a friendly manner. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that certainly comes across. I think that everyone that I talk to stresses not only the ease of use of the product, but how easy it is to get implemented and how easy it is to support. I know there's ways to do what you do in other more traditional technologies, but certainly not always that easy. And what gets buried then in the complexity or hidden in the complexity is that total cost of ownership. And I think that's something that all of your customers should consider, as well as your prospective customers as we look forward.
Yeah, one of the opportunities we have is really just to continue to dynamically grow this company and really add in our current install base and adding logos to the platform. And so we're excited about the journey ahead. I think the adding of you to the team is the appropriate time. It's really where we have to continue to learn and grow. I've always said that we're just one more smart person away from finding the solutions to things. And one thing I may not have shared with you that I think is really relevant to this conversation is that we have left the independent board chair open for a few years, really waiting for that perfect opportunity at the perfect time. And I know I kind of stole your retirement because no sooner did you retire than we swept you up. But it was just the right person at the right time that made a lot of sense. So I appreciate your flexibility with joining us just recently here. So excited about our journey forward. And any closing comments you want to add?
Just to say thank you, Matthew. It's always been a pleasure to work with you and the team. Thanks for having me down at the summit recently. And thanks for giving me this opportunity, as well as the kind words that you just mentioned. Really appreciate it.
No, I look forward to it. And we won't take too much of your retirement time, but just enough to have fun. So thank you, Mike. Appreciate you joining us.
Okay, Matthew. Talk soon.